Ladies and gents, hello and welcome. My name, of course, is Open Potato, and welcome to Mindustry. Mindustry, who knows? Nobody knows. Yeah, we are here to check out the 6.0 update, which has really completely transformed the way that you play this game. A whole bunch of stuff has been updated. Most importantly and relevant to this is the campaign. The campaign has been completely overhauled, and we now have a fancy schmancy planet that we can control in 3D space. As you can see, there's going to be a whole bunch of procedurally generated hexagon maps around. We've got a couple of planned encounters, I should say. Ground Zero and Frozen Forest are the ones that we can see at the moment, but I'm sure that we will be able to uncover a few more in the future. Anyway, why don't we jump into Ground Zero and let's talk about Mindustry. I'm going to be tutorializing for the first episode, as I usually do, just to bring you up to speed with exactly what the heck is going on. If you've never heard of Mindustry before, it's kind of like Factorio, but it's oh so much more in a kind of different way. It really is an incredible game, sort of a tower defense game. As you can see up in the top left-hand corner, we got 10 waves. The next wave is going to be in about 3 minutes, so we've got time before we're going to get assaulted by the enemies. We can build buildings in order to interface with the world. We've got the opportunity to build a mechanical drill. We've got some copper deposits over here. We've got a duo, which is like a turret thing. We got our core here, which is currently storing a whole bunch of copper for us. If our core dies, then we lose. It's literally that simple. So I think what we want to do in the very first instance is try and get an obscenely large amount of copper going. I mean, I don't really think that there's that much threat on this level. By the way, building these mechanical drills costs us copper, hence why we need to make sure that we get as much copper into our core as is possible. So let's do something like that. We'll do something like that. We want to make sure that we do get our defenses up and running, but I think the priority is to assemble as many resources as we possibly can. I think that's the priority at the moment. So at the moment, we only have the duo, the turret available. We've got the mechanical drill, which we've just placed down a couple of. We've got the conveyor belts, which work exactly how conveyor belts work in every single type of process management strategy game. And then interestingly, we've got the junction. Now, the junction just allows us to pass resources through without them interfering. As you see, that bit of copper was able to get through. So, you know, we're not gonna faff around. We're not gonna faff around too much in the early game. I think we just want to, get our resources up and running. So let's place down some more copper mines. Boom, boom, boom. We're not exactly short of resources. I can afford to throw around a couple of my resources. As long as we guarantee the supply lines of the future, I'm not too bothered about the efficiency of the lines at the moment. In fact, this would be a great opportunity for a junction. That's right. So we want these 3 mechanical drills to head to the core, and we want this mechanical drill as the only thing that can output to the duo. I don't anticipate needing a great amount of copper in this duo at this moment in time. The reason that I don't anticipate that is because I want to fly forward, and I want to see if we can try and build an advanced defense. Now, something that is quite interesting about this duo is the duo can fire certain types of resources. So it can fire copper out for specific damage stats, graphite, pyrite, silicon, etc. But we will also, hopefully, very hopefully, very soon indeed, unlock resources or unlock a turret which can use other resources such as lead. So if we pop into our research tech tree just for a second here, you can actually see what we've got access to. So, in order to unlock things on the tech tree, we need to spend resources. In order to get resources, we need to just stick them into our core. It's pretty much that simple. What is this? Ground Zero completed. We need to capture Ground Zero, and we need to research the router, or indeed the router. The scatter. The scatter requires us acquiring lead. There we go. That's a tongue teaser, if indeed I ever saw one. Requires us acquiring. Requires acquiring. Okay, anyway, so we need to try and prioritize getting lead into our base. There's not a huge amount of complexity to it. A lot of the complexity comes from the type of structures that you create, and the fact that this game can be functionally functionally endless, as far as I'm aware. I mean, we're not going to go on forever. We're going to try and beat the level. But it can be functionally endless. Okay, so this is the spawn area. Leave drop point immediately. Annihilation imminent. Yeah, we do need to be very, very careful about that. I'm going to spend a bunch of resources getting this area kitted out to be my primary area of defense. I think what I want to do is I want to straight away unlock the router. So the router is, if you've ever played Factorio, is very, very similar to a splitter. So it distributes input items to 3 output directions equally. So boom, let's go and get that. That cost us like 100 copper, which was basically nothing. We have got 409 at the moment. We can't get anything else because that's going to require lead. We can buy a copper wall, sure. And a large copper wall. And a large copper wall as well. Sure. So we threw a couple of resources towards getting the large copper wall. It's now 29% complete, 29% unlocked. But it's not a big deal. Anyway, the reason that I got the router is that there's a little trick that you can do. Skip that. There's actually a little trick that you can do. And so this is going to actually allow us to distribute a whole bunch of ammo to a whole bunch of duos, because the router is going to split in 3 directions, and then this one's going to split in 3 directions, and that one's going to split in 3 directions, and bada bim, bada boom, before you know it, we're going to be supplying the very, very best of the best copper to the turrets, which is kind of nice. Right, so we're just going to go for a similar sort of setup over here. Yep, nothing too complicated. Couple of duos over here. We're probably not going to have the copper resource to build all of these out at the moment, but we don't have to build them out at the moment. We can return to building them at a point later. That's not a big deal at all. Ooh, the enemies have spawned. We can also shoot, by the way. It's not a very engaging activity. But you never know, it might come in handy from time to time. Right, so what are our problems here? The first of all problem that I should note is that our defenses are limited to just the duos, and the duos ain't gonna cut it. So let's immediately get a wall established. A 1 thickness wall is probably not gonna be satisfactory, but we'll worry about that later. A router, let's get a router over here, actually, because it looks like we're going to be able to output more than enough copper. And so all of the excess copper, I want to hop and stick down back in the core. Basically, any additional copper we want to get running back down into the core. In fact, more than copper, any additional resource we want to throw back into the core, because it's going to be quite important. Over here, it seems like there's a couple of inbuilt structures, which is nice. I like that a lot. Let's see if we can try and ship these resources back to... We'll try and ship these resources back to base, and in fact, let's just get more mechanical drills over here that can export lead back to the base. Yeah. Clean up this scrap wall, and we'll place down some more mechanical drills. We can get better drills, we can get better turrets, we can get better everything. The tech tree is expansive, and I do indeed believe it has been enlarged by the 6.0 update, which is pretty darned exciting. Now, if I was truly trying to optimize, I would probably try and get a bespoke lead belt, so as to increase throughput of lead resource to the base. But I'm not going to worry about that altogether too much at the moment. We just need to get the basics sort of started. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, as you can see, this is a melee enemy. We're going to encounter a whole bunch of other enemies across this game. Ooh, that's a battery right there. That's the start of the power infrastructure. That is the first inkling that we have that there will be a power infrastructure to build. Of course, given that I have already played this game a good couple of times, because I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. You could probably tell that by the fact that I kind of know what I'm talking about. I don't want to say that I'm completely au fait with everything that the game has changed since the last time that I've played. However, I'm a big fan. A big fan of this game. I'm just setting up a couple of other copper distribution belts. Looks like there's some sort of like a day-night cycle implemented now. I don't think that was something that was around previously, at least not to the best of my knowledge. Let's call the next wave in early, shall we? Let's do it. I'm confident. I'm supremely confident. Supremely confident. Very confident, in fact. I'm doing my part. Excellent. Okay. The copper wall is probably not going to be anywhere near enough to sustain our defenses long term. But you know what? I'm still confident enough. I'm going to throw a couple of bits in. We can also copy and paste. Maybe I could copy and paste the wall. But I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. A wall is not a complex structure. Replicating a mining operation or a turret operation, that would be a complex structure. I tell you what, we can copy this. Sure. Copy that, copy that, copy that. Alright, that's looking excellent. That's looking really, really good. Should probably copy all of this as well, just to ensure that we've got some proper defenses in place. And then we're going to be, you know, super foolhardy, and we're going to call in the next wave. Is there any way that I can perhaps turn off the day-night cycle? I do wonder, because the day-night cycle is a little... It's a little irritating, specifically when I'm playing on the YouTube. Perhaps I'm just missing something. Display effects? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Yeah, okay. Not necessarily the end of the world, if not. It just makes it slightly more irritating. Slow planet atmosphere. It must be in here somewhere, if it indeed is an option. Alright, it doesn't particularly matter. It doesn't particularly matter. It doesn't particularly matter at all. It was just if it was possible. Makes it a little bit easier to see after YouTube decides to compress the video a whole heck of a lot. Anyway, things are looking good. We're kind of... I was going to say, we're very fortunate that we've only thus far faced melee units. However, I suspect very shortly we're going to be facing a lot more aerial units. Now, aerial units present a bit of a problem, because even though duos, the type of turrets that we have at the moment, can fire at them, they don't do a very good job of hitting the enemies. Hence why we should probably go into the research tech tree and immediately see if we can invest in a scatter, which is a weapon that has got the description of fires a clump of lead, scrap, or metaglass flak at enemy aircraft. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that if at all possible. What do we need? 19% complete. Oh, holy heck, we need a lot of resources before we're able to get the scatter. That is... potentially a problem. Okay, didn't anticipate that it would be anywhere near as many resources as it is, but that's fine. Why is this not... Oh my goodness gracious me. Alright, well that's pretty daft potato, isn't it? You just missed out on a whole bunch of copper production. Not necessarily the end of the world, but, you know, irritating nonetheless. Let's see if we can try and increase our lead production. Lead production is vital, actually, if we want to get the scatter up and running. Any more lead sources? Don't think so. Don't think so. Man, I'm really not a fan of this day-night cycle. I gotta be honest. Gotta be honest. I just ain't. It ain't for me. Okay, let's bring a brand new bespoke copper belt down here. Probably don't need, I mean, that much copper, but you know what they say. You can never have too much copper. Metaphorically and literally, in the case of this game. It might be worth us getting some sort of intermediary tech before we, you know, invest all of our time, effort, and energy in getting the flat cannon. Might be worth it. Let's, sure, let's do that. There we go. Auto builds a junction for us. Very, very nice. Excellent. Okay, anything else? I mean, we can mine scrap, I think, can't we? Yeah, we can mine scrap. I don't know if we're actually going to need scrap for anything in the tech tree. New content unlocked. You know me. I love my hashtag content. Right. Throw that down there. Throw that down there. That down there. Excellent. Ditch that. Ditch that. Good stuff. Okay. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be completely fine for now. I don't think that we've really got anything to worry about in terms of the enemy anyway. I don't think we got anything to worry about. Maybe a bit of a backlog up here, but I won't worry about that altogether too much. We can actually mine resources directly, which is kind of cool, I guess. I'll skip that. I don't need that help per se. Yeah, so we can There we go. Transfer all the resources into the base manually. Not like I particularly want to do that, but, you know, we can. I guess we mine kind of fast. It's not terribly enthusing to watch all of these resources get mined and then have to drag them back manually. But perhaps in the future, we'll be able to increase our mining speed. I don't even know if that's possible. Okay, a distributor is basically a bigger router. A sorter... yeah, maybe we could benefit from a sorter, but probably not. A bridge conveyor transports items over terrain. I don't think that that's necessary, to be honest. I think that, honestly, this scatter is the most important thing that we could possibly get. And it literally requires 500 more copper, 500 more lead. Also, our defenses are being penetrated in an absolutely horrible way. I don't like it. I don't like it a lot. I don't like it a lot. I don't like it a lot. That doesn't make sense. I don't like it. I don't like it even one little bit. I don't like it even one little bit. Okay, gonna throw down some additional mines here. That's fine. That mine's fine outputting to this belt, as this is just a general belt that goes back to the core anyway. These resources need to be configured to be sent home. There we go. Excellent. I know they're not technically configured. They're not technically configured to be sent home at the moment. Also, this is, like, absolutely nowhere near high enough capacity. We're going to need to get a brand new bespoke belt, I think. There we go. Excellent. Looking very, very good. I do indeed see that the latest batch of enemies has been sent out. Are we able to repel them? Looks to be the case. Cool. The other thing to consider is that at the moment we have only one line of defense. We have only one line of defense. It might be worth us. It might be worth us looking into getting another line of defense. Can I buy... I can totally do this. I need 255 lead. 255 measly lead, or 205 lead. It's whatever the case. It's not a lot. It's not a lot of lead that we need. There we go. Alright. When you're placing your drills, you always want to make sure that there is a belt route between at least one point on the drill, because the drill can output at any point. And so as long as you have like one little square of conveyor belt touching the drill, then you will be just fine. Okay, let's branch over there. Zoom out a little bit. Come down. I think you can... What is it? Is it hold control? Yeah, if you hold control... Yeah, if you hold control, you can do fancy schmancy belt routing, which is what I'm very interested in. I'm always interested in fancy schmancy belt routing. Yeah, that's actually pretty perfect for what I need. Come down here. Excellent. Do we have another input? We don't have another input here, but I can just delete that. And do something like this. Something like that. Yeah, okay, so that's pretty perfect. That should allow us to get a whole bunch of additional lead into the core, which is very, very important indeed. What are these batteries made of? I don't even know what these batteries are made of. I guess we'll have to wait and see. We're gonna unlock the battery in a bit, no doubt. All right. We're not really facing any problems. We're not really facing any problems. This is fine. Sector has been captured. Well, hey. Excellent, excellent, excellent news. We can access the next sector. We can launch by going to the map in the right-hand corner. Okay, very cool. Very, very happy with that. Can I unlock the scatter? I can unlock the scatter. Let's also unlock the large copper wall. It's just a bigger copper wall. Bridge conveyor, let's get. Sorter, let's get. Let's not get the sorter because we need a little bit more lead. I mean, I guess we might as well chill here until we get the lead. I mean, there's a whole bunch of lead en route. You know it's happening. Yeah, okay. So, how much is it going to cost us to launch here? Sector 175. Sector 175. I mean, we could go there. Biomass synthesis facility. Capture frozen forest. Research power node. Okay, so we got a couple of prerequisites. Frozen forest we could go to immediately. Threat is low. Biomass facility. We don't have intel on the threat. Okay, I think I want to chill out here until we get a little bit more lead. That's what I think is probably the best course of action. I don't really think that there is any more... I don't think that there is any more alien threat, if indeed it is fair to say that it is alien threat. Look at all of this stuff that we can unlock. Look at all of this stuff that we can unlock. How unbelievably exciting. I love seeing a completely locked tech tree. It's just so exciting. It's just so exciting. Okay. Get the sorter. Overflow gate. Overflow gate is absolutely brilliant. It's really, really exceptional. We'll talk a little bit about that when we jump into the next level. But let me say, the overflow gate is one of my favorite tools. It really, really is. I have done a very, very bad job of actually getting this scrap into the core. Yeah, I've done a very, very, very bad job of getting the scrap into the core. We've hardly got any scrap relative to the amount of copper, or indeed the amount of lead that we're getting each and every minute. Yeah, we can actually see how much lead is traveling over a said conveyor belt if we hover over it for just a second. 4.5 lead per second is being moved on this conveyor into the core. So that's quite a lot. That's quite a lot. Let's get the inverted sorter, but output selected items to the sides instead. Oh, okay. I think that's new, actually. Or at least new since the last time that I played it. An underflow gate. Wow. Okay. Also new, I think. Inverted sorter. Let's get that. The distributor as well. We need 99 more lead. Okay. I mean, that's super easy to get. We should have that in, like, literally 10 seconds. And then we're gonna head to the next area. I think we're gonna go to a procedurally generated area, just because I'm curious to see what the heck the procedurally generated areas have to offer. Alright, distributor. I think that's absolutely everything that we've unlocked, right? Research graphite. How do I research graphite? Produce coal. Okay. So we do have sand here, used for production of other minerals. I don't think that sand is actually available on this level at all, so we've not seen it yet. In fact, I know that it's not available on this level, or at least I don't think it's available on this level. Need to do a lot of additional research before we're able to unlock some of these things. Cool. All right. So anyway, this is like the very most basic level. What is this? Oh, we can actually set a specific call sign. All right, interesting. Let's go. Launching from ground zero. What do we need? What do we need in order to launch? What do we need in order to launch? We can adjust what we want to launch. Okay. But we do need like a basic amount of resources. So we need 800 lead. We need 800 lead. Is that the same everywhere? It looks like it is. It looks like it is exactly the same everywhere. Now, of course, we can take a whole bunch of resources with us. At least I think that's the way that it works. So, what about the frozen forest? We still need a whole bunch of lead. We still need a whole bunch of lead. Lead is indeed the limiting factor. And there's no more aliens to deal with. Okay. I mean, that's a little bit of a shame, to be honest. I was looking forward to destroying the aliens. The good thing is that this actually gives us an opportunity to chat about some of the bits of tech that we've unlocked. The overflow gate, for example, we can stick the overflow gate in here. So, if indeed there is no space on this belt, then it's going to dispatch to this belt. I do indeed believe. I think that's the way that it works. The distributor we've already talked about. It's just a big old splitter. The overflow gate, yep, that's the one that I've got right in there. The sorter we can actually select exactly what we want to be transported along a certain belt. So, for example, if I was to bring a belt of copper down here, you would see all of the copper head right through, because of course it all matches the copper description. Whereas if I choose lead, then the copper would be output to the side there. That's pretty self-explanatory. Underflow gate and the inverted sorter. Yeah, these are new to me. So the inverted sorter, if we sort for copper, that means that it outputs to the side. Interesting. Okay. Pretty cool. And then the underflow gate similarly is like the opposite of the overflow gate. Yeah, outputs to the front if the left and right paths are blocked. It's just that simple. Again, I like the fact that we've got all of these options on the table for us. Very, very cool indeed. After the core is filled to capacity with an item, any extra items of that type it receives will be incinerated. Yeah, that's okay. So our copper capacity has reached 4K. Now, at the moment, our capacity for copper is 4K. You can see at the right-hand side, it says 4K. But I mean, we don't need that many resources. That's completely fine. I think we can head to the next place, right? We don't need to take any additional lead with us. We're fine. We're fine with just that. Sure, let's actually launch. Let's freaking go. Let's go to our first brand new procedurally generated area. Cool. All right, gray landing zones such as the frozen forest can be launched to and from anywhere. They do not require capture of nearby territory. Numbered sectors such as this one are optional. Yes, this is completely optional. However, it's really, really important that we do this early on because we are desperate for brand new resources. This is a map. My goodness gracious me. Wowzers. Wowzers. Okay, we'll skip that. We don't need that. So what do we got here? Is this graphite? I think this is graphite. No, this is titanium. This is titanium. Graphite is a resource that we can make. All right, so we got lots of titanium deposits. Any other type of resources? We got coal over here. So this is immediately like two more types of resources that we've got access to here. Very, very cool indeed. What the heck is this? I don't know what that is. Maybe it's just tiles in the wall. Right, where are the enemies? Where are the enemies? The enemies presumably coming from up here? Yes, the enemies are coming from up here. We got lead, titanium, lead. Okay, and then we got a wave. We got a wave in a little bit. Okay, we got 20 waves to get through. That's fairly easy. Fairly easy to deal with. Right, so can duos, by any chance, can they fire titanium? They can't fire titanium. They can fire graphite. Graphite is a manufactured material, though. I also should not be spending anywhere near this amount of resource on turrets at the moment. But I am going to see if I can try and make a little bit of an advanced forward base here. Not necessarily committed to keeping this base fully operational and running, but you know, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, maybe I need to fall back, who knows. What the heck is this? This is an advanced type of weaponry here. Holy cow. Wowzers, a fuse? Okay, so what we maybe want to look at doing is routing the enemy towards here. I presume a pneumatic drill? Oh, that's exciting. And this is titanium conveyors as well. Huh. Are we able to use... Yeah, so we need a better drill to actually mine titanium. I dare say that it might be possible for us to extract titanium at some point over the course of this level if we play our cards right and we're able to get some appropriate upgrades, some appropriate drilling upgrades. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can try and future-proof this establishment here. There we go. I'm gonna see if I can try and build everything to go into this slot in the core, at least in the early game. Let's get some additional lead drills. So that's not going to work. We want to make sure that we're trying to maximize the amount of lead that we get out of here. Okay, so I think this is the best play. This is the best play. We want to try and always cover the maximum number of tiles that we possibly can. But, as I've already highlighted a good number of times, it's really important that we always leave at least one conveyor space, at least one space on the drills free for a conveyor belt. So that is exactly what I'm going to try and do. Okay, again, it doesn't particularly matter if the copper belts are contaminated with lead or the lead belts are contaminated with copper. In fact, it doesn't matter because this is just to supply the core because we need that sweet lead and copper resource for our research. So that is fine for now. No, we're gonna bring this across here and bring this back down and bring this down. And bring this down. And then bring that in over there. Cool. Alright. We gotta be real careful. We gotta be real careful that we don't get suddenly overwhelmed by an obscene amount of enemies. It can happen. It will happen at some points. Undoubtedly. But I think we should be fine for now. All right, so that's a good amount of lead that we've got coming in here. Is there any chance that we're going to be able to research any more tech? Okay, research coal. Okay, if I extract coal, will that count as researching it? I mean, if I look at core database here, I'm pretty sure that we need to extract it in order to officially, technically research it. So we do that. We get the research. There we go. New content unlocked. We don't even need to deliver it to our core necessarily, but I'm gonna do that just in case we need any coal for any research. So we'll do that right now. I am quite aware, by the way, that we did indeed start combat with the enemies up here. Where are we? Over here. Is this a spawn zone too? This is not a spawn zone. That's pretty weird, actually. Did we take the enemies out? Looks like we did. Looks like they decided to route around this way. Now, we can force them. We can force them to go in a very specific direction, which I think is what I'm going to do. I'm going to force them up here using big copper walls. Is it a particularly great idea to do this in this specific place? I don't think that it is, for a couple of reasons. First of all, our duos aren't going to be able to reach past the wall, so that's kind of a daft play. But I'm sure we'll be able to adapt. I'm sure we'll be able to fix that out, fix that up in just a second. 54 seconds until this is all operational. I mean, it's just copper, though. It's just copper that I'm going to be losing if that area doesn't end up working out, which I mean, it's going to work out. It's just a matter of time. How long, you know? How long do we want to leave it? This is a mess. This is a total mess. And this is why we need better conveyors. But of course, chatting about basic conveyors in the early game is a bit of a ridiculous thing to talk about, because we're miles away. We're miles away from advanced conveyors. Right. So coal. I've researched coal. What is this? A graphite press. That seems very, very cool. And also a combustion generator. Cool. All right. Let's get the power. Let's get a power node. No, let's not get a power node. Let's get a graphite press. Sure. It's also worth noting that I do indeed believe that we keep our resources from the previous level. So even though I don't have many resources in my core at present, I've only got, 35 copper, 420 or so lead, 20 coal. We keep our resources from the previous level, and that's going to allow us to make a little bit of an early splurge. So we got a graphite press. Compresses coal into graphite. Okay, that's really, really important. Graphite is a very, very good thing to have on hand. The reason that it's very, very good to have on hand is that it is a good resource to fire at the enemy. So I think what we're going to try and do here, let's do that. Yeah, I think what we're going to try and do, let's consolidate all of our resource onto a single belt here. We can throw down one additional mechanical drill. I am, by the way, super not in a great copper place. I should probably run a couple of bespoke copper belts. Looks like the pathing did to some extent work, so that's quite nice. But yeah, we're going to get a whole bunch of graphite presses. I think the graphite press will require power, if I'm not mistaken. Does it require power, or does it not require power? I guess we'll have to wait and see. All right, build the graphite press. Bada bim, bada boom. Input coal, output graphite. Doesn't even require power. Excellent. Okay, so then let's link this up over here. Let's go to get some routers. Now, we need to be super careful that we don't put any routers next to our input buildings. The reason being is that the game can sometimes get a little bit confused with outputs and inputs and whatnot, so we need to be just a little bit careful about that. I need to fix my copper situation. I mean, we hardly have any copper coming in. I thought that we'd have plenty of copper, to be honest, but apparently, no, we just need a lot of copper. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. All right. More and more and more and more and more copper. So let's just zone it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sure. As long as we get the blueprints down, we should be fine. How do I have such an atrocious copper income? It really is marvelously terrible. Right? So that's all gonna get built. It's just a matter of time before we've got the copper resource to build all of these conveyors. Cool. Excellent. That is the start of a new wave. A new wave of enemies are coming at us. But I'm sure we'll be able to cope, and we'll be able to cope all the more easily once these mines have been built. Let's head back up to the top just to make sure. I mean, we do need to get anti-air. We do need to get anti-air. That is not necessarily a priority, but it's something that we need to consider doing. We also need to build up this infrastructure here. Maybe we see if we can try and, I don't know, get a little bit of localized graphite production for the duos. That'd be kind of cool. Let's finish the construction of the graphite presses. Nice. And we'll just do something like that. Wonderful. There we go. Copper, 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 copper. We're still in need of copper. So once we get this operation completely established, I mean, we don't need half of these routers in the place that they are. There we go. Brilliant. Yeah, once we've got this operation completely established, we can probably just copy and paste. We can probably just copy and paste this setup, to be honest with you. There we go. There we go. Now, this is the great thing about Mindustry, is that suddenly you're building an absolutely monstrous base, and it doesn't even feel that permanent. I know that kind of sounds a little bit weird, but there is something nice in the fact that, you know, you're building fast, you're building kind of, you know, a little bit dirty, a little bit fast and loose. It's quite nice. It's quite a nice feeling. It's quite a nice feeling that, you know, you're trying to beat the enemies. I don't even want to say aliens. I'm not even sure if they're aliens. You're trying to beat the enemies. You're trying to get the resources to do that job. And it doesn't necessarily need to be pretty. It just needs to be functional. And then, you know, once in a while, whenever you take a little step back and you're able to catch a glimpse of what you've built, you're like, wow, this is actually kind of incredible. I've built a majestic, incredible system, and I didn't even know it. So, there you go. That's why I kind of love this game. That's why I love this game. And for many other reasons. It's a brilliant one. Okay. I think we're able to repel the enemy no problem. But, of course, that's all going to change. That's all going to change. That's all going to change. I have no doubt that we're going to be coming across a couple of issues very, very soon indeed. We are able to build... We're able to build things a little bit faster than we once were, which means we're getting more copper. I don't really necessarily want to develop a habit of building over other ore deposits, but in saying that, it probably doesn't matter given that I don't have the capability to get titanium at the moment. And also there's plenty of titanium deposits around, so I should probably be a little bit more relaxed about building over, you know, this titanium deposit or other titanium deposits that I'm probably never going to end up utilizing. Anyway, there we go. There we go. Yeah. So I believe that this is a completely procedurally generated map, which is good, because I think that this map looks pretty exceptional, to be honest with you. I think it looks real nice. I think it looks real nice. I think it looks real nifty. I think it looks good. I think it looks very, very good. Right. More copper. This is not acceptable. Junction that. Bespoke line right through there. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. That looks a lot better. So our copper income is in a much more healthy place. Yeah, that looks really good. Let's finish off these constructions, shall we? Let's finish off these constructions. It does take rather a lot of resources to make graphites, but that's okay. Also, looks like all of this infrastructure that I built is for almost nothing, as we do not have anywhere near the amount of coal that we once did. It looks like the backlog on the belt has finally run out. I wonder if there's an upgrade that I can get, which will allow me to light the map a little bit better, because boy, oh boy, it do be dark. It do be dark. It do be dark. Man, I love that. I love that satisfying clunk of placing down a whole bunch of belt. Oh, that's very satisfying. Okay, so that goes in there. Good. Excellent. A little bit more coal here and there. Goes a long way. Any coal deposits up in this corner? I don't think there are, to be honest. I don't think there are. A little coal deposit over here. Tell you what, this is maybe a good example of the power of the bridge connector. So if I place the bridge connector here, it's just out of reach. You can actually see the area of effect that the bridge connector has, but the bridge connector builds a little connection over there. So that's a bit of a shame. It means that we can't bridge over here in the way that I wanted to. I was thinking that maybe we could use the coal deposits up in this corner of the map, and maybe, just maybe, we could connect up a little bit of graphite production to the frontline duos over here. But that looks like wishful thinking now. That looks like wishful thinking. We can connect this belt straight up into this router over here. Doesn't necessarily have to be done all through a single point. It can be done through multiple points. And that means that we're going to be able to spread our resources out much more easily. Look at that amount of graphite. That is a good amount of graphite that we've got coming through. A good amount of copper as well. Yeah, so that's looking really, really nice. Let's check out the tech tree very, very briefly. Loads and loads of copper. A pyrite mixer. Mixes coal, lead, and sand into pyrite. That looks like a very, very useful weapon. Produce pyrite in order to unlock this. Let's get the power node. The Scorch burns any ground enemies close to it. Highly effective at close range. Sure. I'll get that as well. We need a little bit of additional graphite. Okay, yikes. That's going to take a little while. A mender periodically repairs blocks in its vicinity. Yes, please. And also a battery. Also, yes, please. Very, very good indeed. I'll take the pyrite mixer. I'll take the silicon smelter as well. We're going to need to get silicon and pyrite up and running in order to discover the new... What was this? Was it lead? Lead, sand, and coal. Do we have sand here? I don't think that we have sand. Oh no, this is sand. This is absolutely sand. The sand always absolutely confuses me. This is dark sand, but you can also get light sand, which is omega confusing as well. There we go. Okay. So lead, what was it? Lead, sand, and coal for pyrite? So this is probably going to be our most confusing resource thus far. Yeah, so it's lead, sand, and coal. Now, I don't want to necessarily get loads of pyrite production, but it's probably a good idea if we get at least a little bit of it to keep us good. There's a little bit of coal up there. I don't feel good about using such a terribly pathetic coal deposit, but I guess that's exactly what we're going to do. Okay. I'm going to at least keep the coal belt bespoke. There we go. Alright, so that's pyrite. That's pyrite. Let's pump that back into the core. Oh, how perfect is that? A completely straight belt. Completely straight. Right, so that's gonna be fine. Pyrite, does this need power? I don't think the pyrite mixer needs power. It may very well need power. I don't know. Let's have a little look-see, shall we? It does need power. Okay, so we're gonna need to get a corresponding power setup as well. Silicon smelter also needs power. Refined silicon from sand and coal. Okay, we need a lot of coal, and we don't actually have that many coal deposits around, I don't believe. Yeah, we don't have much more. It's purple, 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 purple. Alright. Silicon from sand and coal. Silicon from sand and coal. Excellent. And the silicon smelter, please. Now. Now. I'm going to see if I can try and use an old trick. An old trick that I learned. Can't do that. Can't do that. Needs to be... Need a little bit more space here. So, here's what I want to do. I want to stick a router, and a junction in a pattern like this. In a pattern like this. So, copy this. Copy this, copy this, copy this, copy this, copy this. And what this means is that we're just able to input sand, or indeed whatever resource we want to input, at one end here into this router over there, and then we input this to that router over there, and then suddenly we should have a perfect distribution of all the coal and all the lead. Is it gonna work? I sure as heck hope so. We'll have to see. We'll have to see, won't we? We will have to flip and see. Yeah, we will have to... We will have to see. Have I done this right? I think I've done this right. I think I've done this right. I think I've done this right. Yeah, I think I've done this right. I'm going to keep repeating it until I can actually see if I have done it right. Also, there is no point in doing any of this stuff. Yeah, just ditch all of this. Ditch all of it. Get rid of it. This is plenty of graphite production for now, I think. Yeah, we're good for copper. We're good for pretty much everything. The silicon smelter will need power, and that is not something that I feel very confident supplying because I don't think we got much coal. All right, combustion generator, it uses coal. It uses coal. It's literally that simple. The power nodes need to be spaced out so as to give... Oh, look at that. Look at that. And we actually have brightness as well. Also looks like I didn't mess this up. Looks like I still remember... I still remember my old Mindustry tricks. So, I highly suspect that we're going to have nowhere near enough power. In fact, if I place down some batteries here, we'll probably be able to see... that these batteries will store very, very little power because we have very, very little coal being output into the combustion generator in the first place, which is a problem. Also, this is a mistake. Shouldn't be that. Should be a normal belt so that the coal can merge. The crazy thing about this game, though, is that it's totally reasonable and indeed, I mean, part of the game to just build these massive, crazy, long snaking belts from one side of the map to the other. And you can do so in, you know, super short fashion. We'll do that, we'll do that, we'll do that, we'll do that. And bada bim, bada boom, what do you know? Suddenly, we should have a pretty exceptional coal power belt, I think. Wonderful. All right, so let's get a couple of routers. Let's get a couple of routers set up, like so. We will get a couple of... Oh, that's a mender. We need to talk about that in a second. But a mender is going to build all of our broken stuff. That goes over there. That goes over there. Into there, like so. Let's go back. Let's retrace our footsteps, and let's make sure that there is 100% connectivity. Cool. I'll also throw down a couple of additional mines over here just to eke every last bit of coal out of this area. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, it means that we've got silicon production up and running. I mean, even with this measly single combustion generator, it actually looks like it's managing to pretty consistently power a whole bunch of silicon smelters. To be honest, there are further issues. There are further issues like the amount of coal that we have coming in here. Only the Center 2 or the Center 4 really seem to be working with any sort of consistency. We need to get more sand. We need to get more... We need to get more coal. But, I mean, we're not going to fix this problem. We're not going to fix this problem overnight. But we can make a couple of amendments here and there just to increase our sand production. I mean, we need better mines. We need better mines or better drills, I should say. The more drills, the merrier, quite frankly. The more drills, the merrier. This setup is... it's too much. It's too much for a single belt. It's too much for a single belt. Bring it across. Bring it across, bring it across, and bring it up into... Ah, sure, we'll bring it in there. Fine. Just being lazy. Just being lazy now. Okay, this is pyrite, and we need power for the pyrite as well. The good thing is that we've already established our sort of base of operations in terms of power. So we can set up that... There we go. Brilliant. We set up a power transmission line very simply by dragging pylons across the map. It's literally that simple. It's literally that simple. And we should... Yeah, look at that. We've got a massive power infrastructure that's coming along. Okay. I'm gonna build a couple of additional battery setups. Is this really required? I just don't know. I don't know. What does a battery take? 5 copper and 20 leads. It's not really that expensive at all. Okay, cool. But anyway, we are going to need thousands and thousands and thousands of resources in our core in order to... Ooh, I tell you what, this is the perfect opportunity for an overflow gate. Isn't it? Yes, it is. So, any overflow from the power setup is going to immediately get transferred onto the silicon belt. So that's very, very nice. We just need more coal. It's just all about coal. It's all about coal. In fact, we've got a backlogged copper line. We've got 4,000 units of copper, which is the maximum amount that our core can store at the moment. An illuminator. Oh, yes. Okay, a YouTuber's best dream. I like it a lot. Okay, a microprocessor runs a sequence of logic instructions in a loop. Can be used to control units and buildings. That's pretty pog. That's pretty confusing as well because I'm stupid. A solar panel provides a small amount of light from the sun. It requires silicon. We ain't got much silicon at the moment. A ground factory produces ground units. That's very, very exciting. We can send our units against the Scourge. Core foundation. Core of the base. Well armored. Stores more resources than a shard. Okay, that's cool, but it's going to require a lot of lead, a lot of copper, and a lot of silicon. Yeah. Come to think of it, silicon is... we'll get the Scorch. Come to think of it, silicon is probably our limiting factor at the moment. Produce blast compound. It's pretty exciting. Fires arcs of electricity at ground targets. Sure, we'll do it. A Lancer charges and fires powerful beams of energy at the ground. At ground targets, even. Okay, so basically... We've now got access to power weapons, which is quite cool. I think that we should probably return to the top right-hand corner to see what the heck is happening here. Yeah, there is death and destruction by the boatload over here, actually. That's quite yikes. That's quite yikesy. Did an enemy get through? I don't think an enemy did get through. Oh my goodness, look at this. Look at this. This is an operation. This is an operation here, folks. Okay, so we got a bunch of extra turrets, right? We got the Arc, we got the Scorch. The Scorch will fire coal, but it does better to fire pyrite. Let's not do that. Let's do instead some proper planning, okay? Let's get rid of this and let's see if we can try and get some arcs, some electric weapons. I'm going to see if I can try and connect up a little bit of a power system real quick. The reason being is that I know the enemies are coming, and I want to make sure that I'm prepared. Alright, a little bit of a janky operation there, but whatever. We can connect those manually. Right, next thing that I want to do, large copper walls. Bring this down here. Bring this down here. This down here. Excellent. And I love the speed at which you can just build stuff. You know, it truly is... pretty incredible. I just feel like I'm the master of this world. I can build what I want to build, and I can visualize it, and then boom, immediately we got it. Okay, so let's build a bunch of these arc lightning things. I want to make sure that I block this off. You can route the enemies to an extent, and in later levels, making sure that you have a maze in which you control everything is very, very important to ensure that the enemies aren't able to sort of path around you. What do we got here? I think that these might be explodey boys. Yeah, pretty sure that they explode. This gives us an amazing opportunity to, first of all, demonstrate what the Illuminator can do. I've never seen it before. Again, the day-night cycle is brand new to me. But these menders, let's get a couple of menders down so that we can repair our large walls and make sure that we always have the capability to defend them. In fact, it might actually be worth us seeing if we can path them around. Oh, look at this. Look at this, look at this, look at this. This is well prepared. This is good. You got to be careful when you're setting up paths for enemies. If the path is too cumbersome, if it's too long, they will just charge at the weakest point. So, you know, to an extent, we need to be careful about the way that we path this out. But I think that this is fine. I think this is fine. They'll probably still want to path up here. I guess we'll see, right? Yeah, it looks like they're going to path down towards the bottom. The most optimum routes. Fine. Mender is not able to reach out to that point, which is fine. That's okay. Right, let's keep these duos around. Let's keep these duos around for now. You know, as a good line of defense, right? An extra backup line. In fact, we'll get an extra line of defense just here. Fine. Good. Again, it's all about pathing. It's all about making sure that we are forcing the enemies to take the route that we want them to take. So that's very, very good. Now, the other thing that I was going to chat about briefly was the scatter. So the scatter can fire scrap, lead, or metaglass. And it's probably best if we get it to fire lead here. But this is going to be our anti-air capability. So, I want to start with 2 units. We'll get a couple of mines over here. Let's start with 3 units, in fact. 3 units just to make it a nice even 3. Sure. All right, let's bring in the enemies. I can't expect it to just be ground-based enemies forever. It may very well be the case that it is, but it also probably won't be. I'm going to take a couple of waves. I mean, honestly, we can probably go right up to wave 20 here. I imagine we can go right up to wave 20. Holy cow. Okay, that's a brand new unit that I have never seen before, and I'm actually kind of terrified of. Let's throw down way more arcs. This is... Oh, you're going to crawl over my walls. And that demonstrates exactly why we have a backup line of defense here. The duos. These wall climbers present a problem. Also, they got too close. They got too close and blew me up. That's embarrassing. Also, what the heck is going on here? I haven't been making silicon for like 20 minutes. Oh, man, that's irritating. All right, well, I've been making it. I just haven't been shipping it into my core. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous and very irritating. Ridiculous and very irritating for sure. All right, can I do anything about this? Not necessarily. I mean, there are setups for 3 input processes, like manufacturing pyrite, that I can duplicate and copy and paste around the base, but I don't really feel like I need to yet, to be honest. Fine. Anything else that we need to explore? No, I think that's us explored everything. Man, I'm a little bit scared. A little bit scared that all it's gonna take is something like that occurring. Oh, they rushed it. They tried. But I captured the sector, gosh darn it. Okay, right. I mean, this has been made pretty easy by the fact that I would say a fairly experienced Mindustry player, whatever. I can launch off, I can add extra resources that I want to take with me. I'm probably going to do that. I think that we may be trying to attempt 1 additional sector before we attack the Frozen Forest. Although that being said, we can probably take the Frozen Forest reasonably soon, I imagine. I imagine that that's the case. We can head back to... Oh, wow. We can head back to Ground Zero, and we can check out our base at any time here. So apparently, we're able to continue to funnel the resources. We're able to continue to funnel the resources into research here. All right, I didn't know that that was the case. I didn't know that that your base remained once you launched off to another sector. Anyway, folks, we are gonna wrap this here episode up. Thank you ever so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. Do indeed like the video. We're going to be exploring a whole bunch of the brand new features for 6.0 release as we go through the series. But I hope you enjoy the game. I'm just glad to be back playing this game, to be honest, because it's a brilliant little title, and it costs hardly anything on Steam. And so you should go and check it out if you haven't already. Thanks as ever for the fantastic support over on the Patreon page, helping make videos like this possible. All of the support really does mean the world, folks. Check it out if you're indeed interested. Thank you ever so much for watching. My name, of course, has been Underflow. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.